Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees, they can fulfill the desires of everyone, and are full of compassion of all living souls.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter number 54, and you do text number 53. Bhagavan Bhishmaka Sutam, Bhagavan Bhishmaka Sutam, Evam Nirjitya Bhumipan, Evam Nirjitya Bhumipan, Puram Aniya Vidvad, Puram Aniya Vidhivad, Upayeme Kurudvaha, Upayeme Kurudvaha. Bhagavan Bhishmaka Sutam, Evam Nirjitya Bhumipan, Puram Aniya Vidhivad, Upayeme Kurudvaha. Bhagavan Bhishmaka Sutam. Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Bhishmaka Sutam, the daughter of Bhishmaka, Evam, thus, Nirjitya, defeating, Bhumipan, the kings, Puram, to his capital, Aniya, bringing, Vidhivat, in accordance with the injunctions of the Vedas, Upayeme, married, Kurudvaha, Kuru Udvaha, O protector of the Kurus. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus defeating all the opposing kings, the Supreme Personality of Godhead brought the daughter of Bhishmaka to his capital and married her according to the Vedic injunctions, O protector of the Kurus. Did you repeat? Thus defeating all the opposing kings, the Supreme Personality of Godhead brought the daughter of Bhishmaka to his capital and married her according to the Vedic injunctions, O protector of the Kurus. So, explanation by Jiva Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Jiva Goswami, defeating the kings, snatching Rukmini, he brought her to Dwarka and married her. Nirjitya has two objects. He conquered the kings, Nirjitya, and gained Nijitya, Rukmini. Bhishmaka Sutam is placed at the beginning of the sentence since she is emphasized in the verse. Sanatana Goswami, Krishna manifested his powers to defeat the evil kings, Bhagavan. Bhishmaka also came later carrying ingredients for the marriage out of affection. Bhishmaka Sutam. Later it is described that the people of Vidarbha enjoyed in Dwarka. The wedding was conducted according to the rules. How did he marry her? Please describe this in detail. O descendant of the Kurus, you know this because you come in a family of great Kshatriyas. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So now we have almost come to the end of this entire Leela of Rukmini and Krishna. And there are so many lessons that we learned all through this journey. And I want to do a quick review of the lessons that we learned from this pastime, and then we'll come to this verse, and maybe we'll read the next verse also. So we see like how this entire pastime starts off with how Rukmini, and she heard about Krishna, and just by hearing about Krishna, she got attracted to Krishna. And this is the point that in the 7th chapter, text 1, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually makes a point Tat Shrunu. By hearing about Krishna, we actually get attracted to him. And our whole process of bhakti is based on this process of shravana. So we just hear, and by the hearing, natural attraction comes. And we see how Rukmini is attracted to Krishna, and how she writes the beautiful letter to Krishna, and then the Brahmana carries the letter. And then how Krishna, when he reads the letter, he's immediately like attracted to Rukmini. And he says, okay, I'm going right away. And he calls his driver Daruka, and then go right there to actually, kidnap Rukmini, follow the plan that she actually suggested in the letter. And then we see Krishna coming. And then how Krishna actually, he kidnapped Rukmini amongst all the different kings who were standing there. Right? And then when Krishna is actually taking Rukmini back, we read about this entire conversation between Balaram and Krishna, but mainly Balaram and Rukmini. Right? And the entire conversation is so interesting because like one of the previous purports we see, in the previous verses it said that after Balaram gave those instructions to Rukmini, with that transcendental knowledge, he actually dispelled her grief, and thus she got enlightened. Right? And this is the whole theme of Bhagavad Gita. Right? Initially we see how Arjun had this emotional breakdown, but when he heard the transcendental knowledge, then at the end of Bhagavad Gita, what does Arjun say? Nashta moha smriti labdha. My moha, illusion, is now destroyed, and my smriti, my intelligence, is now again awakened. Right? And the same thing here, we see how Rukmini, she is enlightened and her grief is dispelled. And we see throughout Bhagavad Gita how in the 4th chapter, in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually concludes the 3rd chapter, where Arjun asks the question that how can we overcome our distractions in life? Right? We know what's the right thing to do, but we are overcome with so many distractions. And Krishna actually replies, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajot Guna Samudbhava. It is that Rajagun, the mode of passion, that actually pulls us away from our true duty. So even though we know what's the right thing to do, the mode of passion actually pulls us away. And how does Krishna conclude that section? He actually makes the point that understanding oneself to be transcendental to the senses and the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence. Right? Deliberate spiritual intelligence. And that leads unto the 4th chapter, which is transcendental knowledge. So we see the power of knowledge, and Krishna is saying, how can we overcome this Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, this desire for enjoying our senses? Just by transcendental knowledge. Right? So we see Balaram, who's giving transcendental knowledge. It's interesting that we have this conversation between Balaram and Rukmini. Right? Rukmini is actually one way the expansion of Srimati Radharani, or more technically, she is the reflection of Chandravali, right? Chandravali appears as Rukmini, and then Satyabhama appears from Srimati Radharani. So they are from the side of the gopis, or the internal energy, the Haladini potency side. And Balaram, who is actually in charge of the Sandhini potency, the existential potency, is giving this wisdom to Rukmini. Right? And it's very interesting, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I find this so interesting. He makes a point that Rukmini's nature is the form of great Chitta Shakti. Rukmini's nature is the form of great Chitta. Chitta is a knowledge potency, right? And hence she is eternally intelligent. She's always intelligent. There is no doubt about that. Her form is that of the great Chitta Shakti. So we know from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 4th chapter, text 61 onwards, which actually says how Krishna has 3 internal energies, right? Chitta Shakti, then Sandhini Shakti, or let's say the other way, Samved Shakti, Sandhini, and Haladini, right? These 3 potencies. And here we see that Rukmini is said to be the form of the great Chit or Samvit Shakti, right? Knowledge potency. And hence she is eternally intelligent. Therefore, she can actually enlighten Balaram. So actually she can enlighten Balaram because she is a form of that Samvit Shakti. Therefore, her enlightenment is just an exchange. It's a response like an echo. So what she is receiving, actually she is the source of all that wisdom. And hence it is just an exchange there. Right? So it's so interesting. We see this point and maybe we can go deeper into this point that how, when we actually progress on the path of bhakti, they say it is this combination of Samvit Shakti and Haladini Shakti that actually descends by the mercy of the spiritual master. Right? So Samvit is a knowledge potency and Haladini is this potency coming from Srimati Radharani, the mercy of Radharani. When they come together, that's when we actually progress in our spiritual life. So in one of the purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada says, but when the Samvit factor, the knowledge factor, right? Samvit factor of cognition is enlightened by the Haladini potency, right? So when the Samvit factor of cognition is enlightened by the Haladini potency of the same internal energy, they work together. And only then can one attain knowledge of the personality of Godhead. Right? So it's a combination of the Samvit and Haladini. And how do we get that knowledge? From the spiritual master. Right? So Balaram, who's a Adi Guru, he is giving that knowledge, and then that Samvit and Haladini potencies are actually acting. Right? So it's very interesting to think about it that way. So, yeah. And then we see the last few verses we talked about how Rukmi, right? Rukmi, and there's actually a nice lesson that if anyone who turns against Krishna, who turns against the union of Krishna with Radha or with Rukmini, then what is his situation? So last two verses we see how Rukmi is left only with his life air. He's deprived of all strength, he's actually insulted, he's disfigured, he's angry, he's frustrated, right? And anything we do which is apart from our seva of uniting Radha and Krishna together, actually any aspect of our devotional service is what? We are trying to bring Radha and Krishna together. Even when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare is actually representing Radharani and Krishna is Krishna. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we are actually giving pleasure to Radha and Krishna by uniting them. So anything that we do which is actually an opposition to this, which is actually one way trying to be an obstacle to the service of Radha and Krishna is only going to lead to anger and frustration. And we see that in the aspect of Rukmi. Right? So that was the last two verses. And then coming to this verse. So here, it starts off by saying Bhagavan. Right? And why Krishna is actually referred to as Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, and we see further in this. So it says Bhagavan Bhishmaka Sutam. So Bhishmaka Sutam referring to a daughter of Bhishmaka, Rukmini. And Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami is making the point that Rukmini is referred to as Bhishmaka Sutam just to make the point that actually Bhishmaka and all the kings actually they joined. They came to Dwarka to actually celebrate the marriage. Right? So hence Bhishmaka Sutam. And then he says, thus Nirjitya Bhishma Pan. Right? So he actually, by defeating all the kings. Right? So when we go back to the word of Bhagavan, why is Krishna referred to as Bhagavan? Because he has so much power that he defeated all the kings. And that also refers to his mission. When Krishna actually comes, what is his mission? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashayat dushkritam. Vinashayat dushkritam. So by Krishna defeating all the kings, he is actually doing his mission. So hence going back to the word Bhagavan, referring to power and referring also to the purpose of descent of Lord Shri Krishna. Then Puram, he came back to his own capital. And then Vidivat Upayeme, right? Married according to the injunctions of the Vedas. Right? So we see how Krishna in Dwarka, right? We'll read further how he in Dwarka, like, when Krishna used to wake up in the morning, he used to do his own meditation, right? He used to meditate on himself. He used to do all the rules and regulations. And when we see Krishna following all the rules and regulations, Prabhupada makes a point Then why is Krishna actually following all the rules? Like here it says, he married according to the injunctions of the Vedas. I mean, Krishna is the one who is the creator of the Vedas. So there is no need for him to actually follow the injunctions of the Vedas. But he does it because yad yad acharit sheshas tat tat evatarjana. Just to set the right example to how things should be actually done. Right? So hence Krishna is described here, married according to the injunctions of the Vedas. Right. And okay. So that's this verse. And so basically in this pastime we have seen the attraction between Rukmini and Krishna. We have seen the fight. We have seen the instructions Balram has given as a spiritual master. We have seen how Krishna has fulfilled his mission. And we also talked of a little bit of Samvit and Haladini potencies. Okay, I'm going to read the next shloka also. Text number 54. Tada mahotsavo nrinam yadu puryam grihe grihe abud ananya bhavanam krishne yadu pato nripa. Translation. At that time, O king, there was a great rejoicing in all the homes of Yadupuri, whose citizens loved only Krishna, chief of the Yadus. So particularly this verse, a Sanskrit word here, Ananya Bhavanam. So if you see the word Ananya Bhavanam, that's what our acharyas focus on this word. Right? Even in Bhagavad Gita we see Ananya. Ananya means unmotivated, or here it says exclusive love for Krishna. Okay, so Sanatana Goswami makes a point. Okay, let's. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the people of Dwarka who had exclusive devotion, Ananya Bhavanam, for Krishna began celebrating. Jiva Goswami says, because this verse uses the word grihe grihe, that means in every house. So Jiva Goswami is saying, by his powers, Krishna appeared in all the houses simultaneously. Because he was requested by everyone. They had prema, whose cause was only Krishna. Ananya Bhavana. Sanatana Goswami, there was more rejoicing among all humans, Nrina, than in Vaikuntha, Mahotsavaha, with songs and music. It is called the city of the Yadus because they were most prominent. There was rejoicing in each house because they had bhakti bhava without expectation of other results. For he who attracts all hearts or is directly Bhagavan. Why? He manifested unlimited powers by protecting the Yadu dynasty. Or this was the reason for rejoicing in the city of the Yadus. Or they knew him as the king of the Yadus and not the supreme lord. Or they had prema, whose cause is only Krishna, Ananya Bhavana. Okay, so I'm going to break this explanation here. So what is this verse saying? That how, after previously we read how Krishna entered into Pura, when he came into his city, and when there was a marriage according to the Vedic rituals, then here it is said that all the people of the Yadu Puryam, of the Yadu kingdom, they actually Maha Utsava. They had a great festival. They all were enjoying. And also Grihe Grihe. That means Krishna actually simultaneously appeared in every house in Dwarka to actually enjoy with them. That's what Jiva Goswami is saying. So imagine it's a nice festival going on and everyone's like, oh yeah, Krishna has come. And there's a nice marriage ceremony. Krishna is going to get married to Rukmini. And everyone is like, oh, so nice. And then, Krishna is appearing in all the houses and everyone's thinking oh, see, Krishna, he kidnapped Rukmini and he came and he's come for his wedding, but he personally is in my house just to celebrate with me. How wonderful Krishna is, right? So every house Krishna has actually appeared. And whose citizens? Why he appeared in every house? Because the citizens had Ananya Bhavana, exclusive love for Krishna. Right? So there are different explanations for this exclusive love. First is Jiva Goswami saying, they had prema whose cause was only Krishna. Why exclusive love for Krishna? Well, because Krishna is so attractive. There is no one other than Krishna that, and that's why that exclusive aspect comes. And similarly, when we actually hear about Krishna, when we are hearing about Krishna, as we get purified by hearing about Krishna, we get attracted to the qualities of Krishna, and then we say, oh, there is no one other than Krishna. And hence Krishna is the cause of our love for him. Right? Who else is there other than Krishna who is all attractive? So that's Ananya Bhavana, first meaning. Then Sanatana Goswami also makes an interesting point. He says there was more rejoicing amongst all humans than in Vaikuntha. Right? So the celebrations in Dwarka were actually even more than all the happiness in Vaikuntha. And why is that? I mean, Vaikuntha is a place where we say there is no Kuntha, there's always happiness. But how come the celebrations in Dwarka are actually more, higher than the celebrations in the happiness in Vaikuntha? And then here, Sanatana Goswami is making the point that one of the meanings of Ananya Bhavana is that the citizens of Yadus, of Dwarka, they knew him as the king of the Yadus and not the Supreme Lord. In Vaikuntha, everyone recognizes, oh, Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And hence, because of that mood of Aishwarya, right? Aishwarya, recognizing Krishna's opulence, then the love, like Chaitanya Charitamrita actually makes a point, that when there's a mood of Aishwarya, the free natural love is kind of hindered. The spontaneous love is actually hindered, right? So, because in Vaikuntha everyone knows Vishnu as the Supreme, hence they have love up to an extent. But in Dwarka, people forget that, oh, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead and recognize him only as the king. And when they recognize him, oh, he's our king. And he's so powerful and he defeated all the enemies just for us, just to protect us. Oh, we love our king so much. So that is love without that mood of Aishwarya. And hence, the celebration in Dwarka is even more higher than the celebration in Vaikuntha. Right? So that was the meaning of Mahotsava. Okay, and then he says there was rejoicing. Okay, yeah. So another point of Ananya Bhakti that's actually described is without expectation of other results. For he who attracts all hearts is directly Bhagavan. Right? So this we hear. What is our definition of pure devotional service? Anya bhilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. Right? So it actually Rupa Goswami is defining devotional service as what? Anya abhilasha. There is no other desire other than the desire to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. Right? So here when you see the word ananya bhava, so that exclusive love, that actually indicates that the citizens of Yadu, the Yadu dynasty, or the citizens of Dwarka, they had no other intention. All they had, no other desire. How can we please Krishna? Oh, Krishna is marrying Rukmini. They are so pleased that they have nothing else. They just want to serve Rukmini and Krishna. They just want to be a part of this glorious celebration. And hence the word Ananya Bhav is actually used. Right. So again, Sanatana Goswami is making the point. They had prema whose cause was only Krishna. Right? Okay. So let's see if there are any comments other than any points anyone would like to add. Yes, Mata. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mata. So, Mother Krishna's point is that how Rukmini, he was attached to his sister, and because of that attachment, he could not accept Krishna. Right? Thank you. Yeah, and practically, Mata is making the point that even in our life, when we have these other material attachments, one way they are actually blocking our expression of devotion to Krishna. Actually, Bhagavad Gita, second chapter makes this point. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya parata chetasam vivasatmika buddhir samado na vidyate. This is two reasons why we cannot express our devotion to Krishna. Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga is basically our desire to enjoy this material world, right? And we see that in Rukmi also. He was proud and he was like, no, it is Shishupal who has to get married, right? And also he hated Krishna. He hated Krishna. So one is Bhoga and other is Aishwarya. Aishwarya referring to a material opulence. So the desire to actually enjoy our senses and the desire to actually accumulate more and more material things, if that's our only focus, Prabhupada in the translation says, one who is too attached to sense gratification and material opulence, then for him, vyavasatmika buddhi samadho na vidyate. That intelligence to take up spiritual life, to actually engage in devotional service does not come about. So a very practical lesson. And we see like how Rukmi at the last few verses, that how he was so angry, he was so frustrated because he had taken a vow that he would not go back to the kingdom unless he actually bought Rukmini back. So his attachment, his pride actually made him make a vow which was actually, contrary to his own welfare. And he had, he did not he did not have that true love for his sister, but because otherwise he would have been happy that and also it's so interesting that the point that, like in Vedic culture, if someone has already touched a girl, then there is no question of like that person getting married to anyone else. So at some point, Rukmi should have accepted that, okay, now she's with Krishna. So even if I have taken a vow to bring Rukmini back, she's not going to get married to anyone else. Like she's only Krishna because that's the Vedic culture. He's already been with Krishna. So at some point, Rukmi's intelligence should have actually just come up and said like, okay, it's already done. It's too late. Let me just accept it. But because of that pride and attachment, it just blocks our intelligence to even come to a point and say, like, okay, let me now accept it. Let me accept my defeat. Right? And practically in our spiritual life also, like, many times like our mood of being the enjoyer and the controller, and we keep trying. And then Krishna is showing you, no, that's not possible. And we keep trying. And at some time we have to just accept our defeat that no, we cannot beat Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality. He is a true enjoyer. Let me just surrender. Let me just accept defeat. Very nice point. Thank you. Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. So Rishabh was making the point that how when we read about all these demons like Kamsa and Shishupal, and when we are reading, we are thinking that, why don't they see it? Krishna is right there. Like there's no chance for them to win. But the tendency of being like the enjoyer, the controller is so strong that they cannot accept, oh, Krishna is here, let me just surrender to him. And so practically, very nice point, that practically in our life also that the mood of that aham mameti, right, I and mine, is so strong that we cannot accept. And that's also like an obstacle, like as we progress in a path of bhakti, even while we are doing sadhana bhakti, the I concept is still there. Oh, I did this seva. I should get credit for this seva, right? So even those subtle anarthas come in the form of like I and mine. Oh, this is my, my service, I-ness and miness. So that actually blocks us in our Krishna consciousness. It's very strong, very strong. So Yeah, I was thinking like, how do we overcome that I-ness and my-ness? By? Oh, minus my I-ness. The Rishabh Prabhu is making the point, minus my I-ness. Right? So, I was thinking of this theme, like how do we overcome that I-ness and my-ness? And like a part of bhakti is that mood of selfless service. You know. And selfless service, not only to Supreme Radha Golokananda, but also to Vaishnavas. And I feel that mood of Vaishnava Seva, where we are willing to serve all the Vaishnavas without any consideration of I-ness or minus, just giving credit, just want to serve the Vaishnavas. Because throughout Bhagavatam we are reading the glories of the Vaishnavas. And if you really understand and appreciate the glories, then it's like, oh, everyone is a Vaishnava. Let me see how I can serve them. How can I serve them? How I can serve them? And just by that constant thought of like how I can serve Vaishnavas, how I can serve Vaishnavas, the I-ness is no longer there. It is just a mood of selfless service to Vaishnavas. So. So looking at the good qualities of all Vaishnavas. So, yeah, Vaishnavas are glorious. Like anyone who has taken to the path of the spiritual life, who's chanting the holy name, right? Nectar of Instruction makes the point. Even once someone chants, mentally we should honor that person. What to talk of someone who's taken initiation, right? Then you have to offer obeisances to that person. Right? And we read again and again how these Goswamis of Vrindavan, like Raghunath Das Goswami, 2,000 obeisances every day. Like, and who was recently we were hearing this point that if he did not find any Vaishnava, he used to just say, "Okay, can you please stand here? I want to offer obeisances again and again and again because I have to do 2,000. I have to complete my quota." You know? So 2,000 obeisances every day to Vaishnavas. You know, imagine. This is Raghunath Das Goswami, one of our acharyas. So that mood of just seeing the good quality in Vaishnavas and just like, you know, oh, he's a servant, he's serving Lord Shri Krishna so nicely. I should serve him, I should serve him. Just seeing the good in others. And so Nectar of Instruction makes the point that the symptom of an advanced person is what? Ninda, what is the last one? Shunyadi. Sorry, I'm forgetting. Shunyadi Ninda. Basically, he does not see Ninda, faults in others. And that's a symptom of an advanced devotee, that he does not see faults. All he sees is the glory of the Vaishnava, and hence he wants to just serve all the Vaishnavas. Okay. Yes. And the main point is they saw Krishna just as their king, not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if you see, it's Vaikuntha, then going higher, you have Ayodhya Dham, then Dwarka Dham, and then Mathura, and then Goloka Vrindavan. And when we say going higher, what does it mean? Higher also in the intensity of love that the devotees have for Krishna, like how Brihad Bhagavatamrita is pointing out the journey and saying, who is the best devotee? And they go higher, higher, higher. But what higher in what sense? Their intensity of their selfless love, and also as we are going higher, the conception of Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually reducing. So in Dwarka, if you see, like Vasudeva and Devaki, like even when Krishna appeared, initially they were actually saying in the prison cell as a four-handed form, they actually said, oh Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you have appeared here. But then how does Devaki react? She immediately changed and said, oh, but you know, my 7 children have been killed and you have to be protected. So please tell us how to protect. I mean, it's a Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and why is she concerned about the protection of her son? So we see that, yes, there is Aishwarya, but it comes and it goes in Dwarka. But in Vaikuntha, Aishwarya is there. But as you progress, it just becomes madhurya, just sweetness with no opulence. So, few points. Jai Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Okularan Janakana What page? I can't find it. Okay. Yasamatinan Dana Brashabada Nagada Yasamatinan Dana Brashabada Nagada Gokuladan Janakana Yasomadina Dana Brasha Padana Gada Gokularan Jankana Gopi Parana Dana Madana Manahara Piparana Dana Madana Manahara Gopi Parana Dana Madana Manahara Kaliya Damana Vidana Kaliya Damana Vidada Kaliya Damana Vidana Amara Harinam Amiyavi Lasa Amala Harinam Amiyavi Lasa Pipina Porandara Navinana Gada Bada Pina Porandara Navinana Gada Bada Vamsi Vada Nasuva Asa Vamsi Vada Nasuva Asa Vamsi Vada Nasuva Prajajana Palana Asurakula Nashana Prajajana Palana Surakula Nashana Nanda Godana Rako Wala Nanda Godana Rako Wala Govinda Madhava Navinita Tasgada Govinda Madhava Navinita Tasgada Sundarananda Gopala Sundarananda Gopala Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasana Hara Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasana Hara Rasa Rasika Kripa Maya Rasa Rasika Kripa Maya Rasa Rasika Kripa Maya Shirada Valabha Vrindavana Natabara Shirada Valabha Vrindavana Natabara Bhaktatvino Ashraya Bhaktavinira Shaya Yasmati Nandana Prajabhada Nagara Gokularan Janakana Dinandan Prajabhada Nagara Gokula Ranjan Kana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Krishna is beloved son of Yasoda, transcendental lover in the land of Braj, the delight of Gokula, known by the nickname Kana, the wealth of the lives of the gopis, the attractor of Cupid and punisher of the serpent Kalia. These pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastimes, Lord of the 12 forests of Braj, ever youthful, the best of lovers, player of the flute, and excellent dresses. Protector of the inhabitants of Braj, destroyer of demonic dynasties, keeper and tender of Nanda's cows, giver of pleasure to cows, land, and spiritual senses, husband of the goddess of fortune, butter thief, and beautiful little coward boy of Nanda Maharaj, wanderer of the Yamuna riverbanks, thief of the garments of the gopis, enjoyer of the mellow of the rasa dance, very merciful, lover and beloved of Sri Radha, the great dancer of Vrindavan, and the only shelter of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jayam Vishnu Padapamahamsa Pavakacharya Stotara Sri Sripad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnu Padapamahamsa Pavakacharya Stotara Sri Sripad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bindi Ki Jai. Nam Acharya Srila Das Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakti Bindi Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopanath Shamakunda Radhakut Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindamana Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Shri Dwarka Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Shimati Glasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktapindi Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shishi Radha Golokananda Ki Jai. Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Tomorrow we're going out in Harinam from 2:30 to 4:30, and it's going to be at Chapel Hill. It's football Saturday. We'll be at the post office and on Franklin Street. So tomorrow we invite everybody. Please come 2:30 to 4:30 for Harinam Sankirtan. Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrikavitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratimadam Ranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dordaivam Idrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoita Ki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrishim Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashu Daraya Varanam Gadgadrudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavakam Vishati Yuga Yatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahaname Aslishyavapadam Radam Anastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lambato Mat Prananatastu Sa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes